Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred Spiritborn class. Everything you need to know. Basic skills. Thrash. January 5th dive at an enemy and slash into it dealing 10% damage. Your third attack unleashes a rapid series of slashes around your target, dealing a total of 25% damage. Enhance Thrash. After killing an enemy, your next Thrash generates 10 additional Vigor, up to 10 casts of Thrash. Accelerated Thrash. Thrash continues to unleash its third attack if cast again within 1.5 seconds. Sharp Thrash. Thrash's third attack grants a stack of Ferocity. Withering Fist. 1/5 dart at and jab an enemy, dealing 5% damage and applying 30% poisoning damage over 6 seconds. Your third attack bursts on your target, damaging surrounding enemies and slowing them by 30% for 3 seconds. Enhanced Withering Fist. You gain 1 Vigor per second for every nearby enemy poisoned by Withering Fist, up to 10. Accelerated Withering Fist. Enemies poisoned by Withering Fist deal 20% less damage. Sharp Withering Fist. Withering Fist's third attack spreads its poisoning to 3 nearby unaffected enemies. Hitting a vulnerable enemy will also spread that effect to all hit. Thunder Spike. January 5th quickly jab forward with a piercing strike dealing 15% damage. Your third attack pierces further, dealing 23% damage and reducing your evade cooldown by 5 seconds. Enhance Thunder Spike. Thunder Spike generates 5 additional Vigor if you have moved in the last 2 seconds. Accelerated Thunder Spike. When you evade, you attack with Thunder Spike along the way and make enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. Sharp Thunder Spike. Thunder Spike's third attack strikes back again, pulling in and knocking down distant enemies for 3 seconds. Rock Splitter. 1/5 rush at a target and clobber enemies in front of you, dealing 15% damage. Your third attack strikes enemies around you, dealing 28% damage. Enhanced Rock Splitter. Rock Splitter increases your block chance by 15% plus for 5 seconds, and when you block you gain 11 Vigor. Accelerated Rock Splitter. Rock Splitter increases your thorns by X for 5 seconds, and your third attack deals 100% of your thorns to enemies. Sharp Rock Splitter. Rock Splitter's third attack knocks enemies back and grants resolve per enemy hit. Core skills. Rake. May 5th conjure claws that rake through enemies in front of you, dealing 28% damage before exploding for an additional 56% damage. Enhanced Rake. Casting Rake grants a stack of Ferocity. Advantageous Rake. Hitting at least one enemy with Rake reduces your longest active cooldown by 0.5 seconds. Rampant Rake. Rake's Vigor cost is reduced by 2 per stack of Ferocity you have. Stinger. Rank 5 to 5 strike a small area, dealing 98% damage to enemies within, as well as all surrounding poisoned enemies. Enhanced Stinger. Stinger applies 50% of its base damage as poisoning over 6 seconds to all enemies hit. Advantageous Stinger. If Stinger strikes a vulnerable enemy, it heals you for 10% of your maximum life. If you are healthy, it makes enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds. Rampant Stinger. Stinger deals 5% X increased direct damage to elites for every nearby poisoned enemy. Quill Volley. Rank 5/5 hurl 5 feathers that pierce through enemies, each dealing 20% damage. Enhanced Quill Volley. Quill Volley makes enemies for 3 seconds if they are hit with at least 3 feathers at once. Advantageous Quill Volley. Quill Volley hurls out 3 additional feathers and deals 30% plus increased damage to each enemy per hit. Rampant Quill Volley. Quill Volley's feathers fly 50% further and converge on your target with 0.2% additional critical strike chance for each point of Vigor you had on cast. Crushing Hand. 1/5 smash down next to you with, creating 2 shockwaves on either side that overlap and each deal 25% damage. Enhanced Crushing Hand. Crushing Hand grants an equal to 10% of the damage it deals for 2 seconds, up to 50% of your maximum life. Advantageous Crushing Hand. Enemies hit by both strikes of Crushing Hand are knocked down for 2 seconds. Rampant Crushing Hand. Crushing Hand's radius increases by 5% for every stack of resolve you have, up to 40%. Core Passives. Vigorous. Casting a core skill increases all vigor generation by 5/10/15% x for 3 seconds. Velocity. Generate 1/2/3 vigor each second while moving if you have dealt damage in the last 5 seconds. Follow through. Your basic skills deal 10/20/30% x increased damage. Double this bonus for third attacks. Spiritborn Class Mechanic. The Spirit Hall is the location that will give you access to Spirit Guardians, the Spiritborn's unique class mechanic in Diablo 4. You'll be able to select 2 of the 4 Guardian Spirits, one as a primary and the other as a secondary. Each gives you additional boons from the Jaguar, Centipede, Eagle, or Gorilla. Each spirit offers a thematic primary and secondary bonus, with the primary spirit granting their tag to all of your skills to gain even more benefits based on your playstyle. The Spirit Guardians and their bonuses are as follows. Jaguar. Primary bonus. Every 4th time you deal direct damage to an enemy with a Jaguar skill, unleash additional slashes dealing 100% of the damage of the 4 hits. All skills are now also Jaguar skills. Secondary bonus. For every 4 meters you move, your critical strike chance increases by 4%. This bonus is reset 2 seconds after you critically strike. Centipede. Primary bonus. Hitting an enemy with a Centipede skill reduces their damage by 2.5% and slows them by 10% for 3 seconds, stacking up to a maximum of 8 times. All skills are now also Centipede skills. Secondary bonus. Heal for 1% of your maximum life for every nearby enemy you've poisoned in the last 3 seconds, up to 5%. Eagle. Primary bonus. Casting an Eagle skill grants 2 Storm Feathers, up to a maximum of 8. When you evade, all Storm Feathers are fired, dealing 100% lightning damage and making targets vulnerable for 3 seconds. All skills are now also Eagle skills. Secondary bonus. For every 4 meters you move, your critical strike chance increases by 4%. This bonus is reset 2 seconds after you critically strike. Gorilla. Primary bonus. Casting a Gorilla skill deals 100% thorns to enemies you hit and grants a barrier for 10% of maximum life, up to 40%, for 3 seconds. All skills are now also Gorilla skills. Secondary bonus. Maximum resolve is increased by 2. When you have at least 5 stacks of resolve, you are unstoppable. Spiritborn hits Diablo 4 on October 8th when Vessel of Hatred becomes available.